Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies, and you know they are really groovy. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal talking about movies. Two guys and a gal, they're talking about movies, and we know they are really groovy.
I am feeling very groovy tonight because we have a star who is a very groovy type star. She was even in La La Land, which is one of my favorite musicals. And she's someone that you have been exposed to most likely. She's had a pretty long career for someone as young as she is. And she's an Academy Award winning actress. And her name is Emma Stone, not Emma Watkins. Some people get them mistaken. But no, it's Emma Stone. And the funny thing about her is that her dad was a CEO. She was born in Arizona and her dad was a CEO. And they just assumed, her parents assumed she was going to do a normal thing with her life. But when she was a teenager, she prepared a PowerPoint presentation called Project Hollywood. And she presented it to her parents saying, I need to go to Hollywood and here are all the reasons why. Well, that was a great investment. And of course she did. And she's been listed by Time Magazine as one of the world's most influential people. In 2017, she was also the highest paid actress in the world. So this is a pretty powerful woman we're going to be talking about tonight. And to lead and guide us through, you have Manny Zamora and popcorn eater Rory, the man of a million voices, Penland. It's a million now.
I'm wearing my
Going
boots.
up. Yeah. Okay.
It's like every time, it's like the number is increasing every time we do this show.
Well, he learns new ones. You know, he keeps like expanding his lexicon and his repertoire.
Yeah, his repertoire, his
Repertoire.
oeuvre, repertoire.
For
Repertoire.
instance, I don't know if you watch TikTok videos, but there's a little boy named Sam on TikTok. He's got a zillion followers. He's a little boy in Scotland, and it's what makes Sam happy is what you got to look for. And so his father always asks him in the video, "Hey Sam, what makes you happy?" And little Sam is so cute, little blonde-haired boy. "Oh, Spider-Man makes me happy, Daddy." What are we gonna do about that, Sam? they go on an adventure, or he does something for the kid that, based on what he says he likes. So I'm gonna be doing that one this week sometime.
That is adorable. I've got to go check that out.
Oh, it'll make you happy watching the videos because it's just so sweet, and he's such a good kid.
We'll play some of the videos.
I love the Scots and the Scot and Irish accents are just every time I hear them I'm like, oh.
You fall in love. Well, the Loch Ness Monster has
Yeah.
I presume she has a
I would imagine Nessie.
Scottish.
What are you staring at me for, you gob?
It's a Scottish style for.
The only way I can do a Scottish accent is to say Scottish and to say bottle. But after bottle Scottish, I can't say
Scottish.
There's nothing. I just do the glottal stop and it ends with that.
You're a right ginger, you are.
Ginger.
Makes me want to run naked through the heather. No, I say, makes me want to run naked through the heather. That's my Scottish.
I would like Nessie to touch me gingerly through with some heather. I think that would be.
Right there.
Man, usually Rory has the reaction face I look for, but this time Manny really it was all there, man. You've got to see there was horror, there was Soylent Green as people horror, and then there was like Mystified. It was an amazing
Not just any horror, but Soylent Green is made from people horror.
That's a different level of horror.
That's a whole different level of horror right there. Yeah. And can I just say,
I just lost Edward G. Robinson horror.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah. I love your shirt, by the way. I think my grandmother had a China pattern set of dishes that look like that. So
set of dishes,
like a Jerry Garcia shirt. A guy that I know, a very good friend, John Colburn, tie-dye shirts. He makes these. Him and his son.
If I knew you were going to wear that, I would have worn my tie-dye shirt. But oh well, it's okay.
We need to have a whole tie-dye night where we coordinate. I feel like
Yes,
I feel like
yes,
that's the
tie-dye
next
night.
level.
I think so.
Night, night, night.
Tie-dye night.
Tie-dye night. It'd be
Like
1979 again.
That's right. It's like,
1979.
hanging out in Haight-Ashbury with flowers in our hair.
We need to be a little higher.
In the village, yeah.
I need to have different. Okay, so tonight
Janis Joplin playing in the background.
I just want to say too. I was just going to say this earlier. I was watching our opening credits and listening to Diane Marie Call's original song, which is great. And I mean, it's pretty damn amazing that we have all these shows on Cosmos Creative TV with all these opening themes and videos. And I mean, it's very professional and we have a good time when we're doing shows. We have people that watch us on a regular basis. It just kind of hit me that we do this and we do it for nothing. I mean, it doesn't cost us anything but time and, and creativity. And look at the body of work, that we've already laid down. I mean, it's pretty amazing. And that was just kind of a happy thing that popped into my head just now,
Yeah. Yeah.
So thank you, Diane Marie Call, for all the wonderful theme songs for the TV shows. Thank you all the other people that are on Cosmos that got to do their own TV shows. And again, they all look slick. They all look professional. And we do them for nothing. No budget. Zero. Zip.
Except for the cost of popcorn.
Nah.
Bag of popcorn. But yeah, Diane Call is amazing. I love her theme song. I love her music for Big Monster Briefing Room. That's
my favorite thing.
Oh, it's so catchy too. Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah.
So catchy.
I mean, it's
it's monstery.
I love
it's monstery.
It's monstrous.
Yeah. And then creating the visuals over that. It's so much fun. So, all right. So let's talk about Emma Stone. She, what's interesting about Emma Stone. One of the things that's interesting, just from from an appearance point of view, is she's not. She has this sweet kind of girl next door quality about her. I mean, she's not conventionally just beautiful. I mean,
I don't know. She's kind of naughty.
She what?
She's kind of naughty.
Kind of naughty, yeah, she is. But yeah, definitely a great sense of humor about herself and about just the work and everything. But I was just thinking about this the other day. I was watching one of her movies, and I thought, she's not somebody that if you saw her on the street, you would immediately think, oh, that's a big star. You think, oh, well, or you saw her at a bar or whatever, that you could be able to walk up to her, and say, hey, hi, my name's Manny. What's yours? What's your sign? But then again, I don't want to get into my fantasies. So, but yeah, she's an interesting actress, and she's done some both big blockbuster movies, but also she's done some nice little independent movies. So she's able to go back and forth between one and the other. So with that in mind, why don't you go ahead and start us off, Rory, and tell me what's your number one?
Okay. My number one for her is Birdman. Okay. Because of her powerful performance as the daughter and the scene alone where she tells, well, and that's the last thing you see in the movie is her looking out the window. And just from her reaction on her face alone, you can put in your mind just about anything. Oh, he's flying away. He's Birdman or what have you,
Right. Yeah.
Brighter. He's dead. Whatever. Because her and her father are kind of estranged in the movie. He spent so much time doing Birdman that he kind of neglected her, I think. So it's just just the scene alone where she goes, your life isn't relevant at all. You've done this silly, Birdman thing, and what do you got to show for it? That alone put it to the top of my list. It's a powerful movie.
Yeah.
Shot kind of like in the style of Rope, where you have intertwining scenes going backstage and front, and which is very entertaining. I think they should do that kind of thing more in films. Be creative with the camera and the cinematography. But most people just want to play it easy and safe.
Yeah.
It's a great movie, and her performance is stellar. It's top
notch.
Yeah.
Top notch. Yeah. Renee, can you put that picture up again? Look at her eyes. That's the one feature that just mesmerizes me. It's those huge eyes of hers. And she's not the only actress that has big eyes like that, but hers in particular, just, I mean, you can't not stop looking at her. You know, and you see the just the intelligence and the, there's always there's something behind those eyes that's always going on in her head.
Here's an interesting fact too, that I didn't know until last night. I was doing some research for the show. Is she's a natural blonde, but in that picture, she's got blonde hair and dark roots.
Oh yeah.
So that was a conscious decision for her character. I'm a teenager. Okay, I dyed my hair jet black at one time, and now I'm growing it back out to blonde, or maybe I just dyed it to blonde, and I'll let the roots grow. Yeah, whatever have you. It was a conscious decision for her to do that because she's supposedly a natural blonde. She's had different colors of hair in different movies. Yeah, but mostly she's blonde.
That's interesting.
What she is.
Yeah.
I love when there's like detail when a director or costume director or something like that, they go so deep into the decisions of, like we were talking the other week about Bob Odenkirk and how when he was going to play Saul Goodman on Breaking Bad, he said, well, I'll only do it if I can have a mullet. Like, to him, it was integral to that character, that kind of slimy character, that he had to have a mullet. So I thought that was interesting that they actually wanted her to have dyed hair, even though it wasn't.
Yeah. Well, it suits her character, and we'll talk about more. It's on my list as well, but a little further down. But,
okay.
All right. So what?
Your number one?
Oh, my number one is actually Cruella. This is the origin story of one of Disney's classic villains, Cruella de Vil, and Emma Stone. Just it's an amazing performance, and this is her movie. She is the star of the movie, and unfortunately, a lot of American actors don't always are able to pull off a really good British accent. She nails it, I think, as a non-Brit myself. But I've listened to enough British actors and seen enough movies with people from the UK that it sounds very authentic to me. And you definitely see the evolution of how she becomes a villain later on. But you're able to sympathize with her throughout the entire movie, even though she does some very questionable things in pursuit of revenge, as we come to find out. But just, you could tell she just embraced this performance, and for her to act opposite an absolute powerhouse like Emma Thompson, who is just one of the best British actresses out there, and still hold her own against that, who plays the uber villain of this story, a character called the Countess, who is this major fashion designer, and just all around just terrible person. It's just amazing. Plus, it's just a fun movie. There's some very dark moments in it, but overall, it's just fun. Plus, just an incredibly killer soundtrack. I love the music in this movie, and great performances. Like I said, both from Stone, Thompson, and also for Mark Strong, who usually plays villains as well in other movies, but in this one he's more sympathetic. Talking about Cruella, Bob, and I don't know. I just really enjoy this movie, and now could it have been better? Yes. I think it did kind of drag a little bit in some places. I think it could have been edited down a little bit more. There were places where it just kind of slowed down. But overall, I really enjoyed the story. The best parts were her.
Say that if it's a number one on your list.
I know, but it's number one just for Emma's performance. And I love the scenes where she is one-upping the Countess with her fashions and how she.
Those are the best. Yeah,
those are the best scenes.
Those are a lot of fun. Yes.
So
agreed.
Great effects work. All the Dalmatians were all CGI, but very well done. Great comedy bits from her two the guys who become her henchmen, who start off as her friends, and so yeah.
I'll be honest with you. It was number 5 on my list. And because I had a problem with the fact that they tried to make her sympathetic, and they tried to make her like at least nice to her henchmen, and I was like, no, Cruella would never be nice to anybody. No. I don't buy this for 1 second. She's not going to shed a tear. She's Cruella de Vil, one of the most evil villains in the Disney canon. And I think Stone's performance, like you said, is wonderful. I think she does a great job with the British accent, like you said. I think she holds her own against Emma Thompson, just like you said. And again, there are a lot of fun scenes in the movie. Now, I watched another movie last night that I had never seen before. And it blew this one off the top of the list. It blew this right off the list.
Okay.
So
is this your number 2?
Renee doesn't know. No, Renee doesn't know that. So,
okay.
Renee got the list that had Cruella, and that was number 5. But it got bumped down to the honorable mention list. So, and I'll tell you what that is when we get to it.
Okay.
Well, I agree with you. It's an entertaining movie, but I just didn't like the fact that they even tried to make her even the most smallest amount of sympathetic.
Well, okay. Here's my defense. Here's my defense of that. This is the origin story. Nobody. She becomes bad, and you see that. And I don't want to spoil the movie for anyone who hasn't seen it. But there's a reason why she turns bad, and it has to do with Emma Thompson's character, who is. She is what Cruella becomes later on, and there's a reason for that. So this is her early on. This is
Anakin Skywalker.
Thank you. This is Anakin Skywalker before he becomes Darth Vader. That's how I see it. And she is now. She's not entirely nice to her henchmen. There is a moment. There are moments when she treats them like dirt, and they resent it. They hate her for a while, but then she kind of comes around. She realizes, oh my God, these guys are my family now, because she's an orphan, and the fact and the reason why she's an orphan is part of her whole raison d'etat. Why she becomes but she's just not the Cruella we know from 1001 Dalmatians at this point. Right. That's the only point that I'm making. But everybody approaches movies differently. You didn't buy it, I did. That's how it goes.
And Rory's face is telling us all we need to know. As you were pitching it, as I was pitching it, he's going like no.
Yeah, you guys are full of shit. That's BS. But hey, you know what? It's cool. It's cool. You know, I mean,
again,
He's not sold. He's just not
We
on
agree.
the
He's just
Cruella
not
being good
buying it.
express.
That's what makes the show interesting. We agree to disagree.
The Anakin Express has not yet picked him up.
The Anakin Express.
She is not Anakin.
But you know how like every person, like even Hitler was a kid at some point, right? Like you got to say, like at some point, there's always an origin of like when somebody starts to go bad, sort of. You know,
I'm sure that when Hitler was a kid, he talked to us. He talked to his parents like this. You've been put my food on the table.
Right? There's no evil.
No.
Kid. So.
No, I haven't seen the live action remake of 1001 Dalmatians with Glenn Close as Cruella.
I would watch that for days. I
So I don't
love
know
the shtick that goes on in that film. It's very John Hughes type, you know, with and Hugh Laurie plays the main villain, the henchman. And he's so wonderful in that. And the other guy is from the Harry Potter films. He plays the Weasley dad. He plays the other guy, and he's really funny. So just the shtick that they get into, and Glenn Close in the movie. The second one, not so much, but the first one is really, really funny.
Yeah.
All right. So that's a very.
I need to watch it.
Yeah.
So I was just wondering if there was any. So I know that was done first, and then Cruella came later.
Right.
If they try to like actually link them together, or you know.
No. Again, no, this is like you said. This is like just the story of her rise to evilness, I guess.
Yeah.
You know why she became, you know, who she is.
Yeah. So.
Yeah. And even that, well, and with that, you kind of get the same evil intensity as Cruella in the cartoon. You know, which is pretty darn evil.
Yeah.
So, but you get to see, you know, like her fashion company and everything on such a grand scale too, which really adds to it.
Yeah.
You know, the money shots.
Yeah.
You know, her stepping out of that Cruella de Vil car, you know, and walking into their big, huge office that she owns and runs. And yeah. So Glenn Close really, really chewed up the scenery with that.
Oh, I bet. Yeah.
And again, the supporting cast is Jeff Daniels. The supporting cast is just wonderful.
Yeah. All right. Well, you sold me. So I need to watch it.
Yeah.
Okay.
That's definitely a top 5 list one.
Okay. All right. So let's move on. What's your number 2?
Number 2, just performance-wise, is The Help.
Okay.
Yeah. I think this movie proved that she had more acting chops than they thought. She definitely has a lot of really good scenes in the movie. I know that the whole shit pie thing took all the publicity, you know, for the film, but she really does a great job with her character in the film, and you're rooting for her, and you know you like her character, and you know she's the underdog. She's the one that you want to win. And that takes good acting to pull that off, to get you to, you know, root like that.
Yeah.
So yeah, a wonderful actor's film.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah. It is. It is like you said, one of her best performances. So I can see. Yeah, definitely. But that poop pie scene, yeah, it's hard to get out of your mind once you've seen it.
When you can see the brown stain on her teeth.
Yeah.
Woman, it's like, oh man. And Sissy Spacek is so wonderful in that too. And her reaction in that scene is fantastic. It's great.
Yeah. Yeah. Cool. All righty. Well, my number 2, and what?
We were talking about number 2.
I
guess yes. And I didn't even it was subconscious. It must have been subconscious that I made that number 2 on my list.
Yeah, yeah. That's how our twisted minds work sometimes. So speaking of number 2, not that number 2. Well, okay, enough of that. So this I know I made Renee very happy with this. My number 2 is La La Land.
Yeah.
The musical with her and Ryan Gosling. Who knew that? Well, they're singing, okay, not the best, but it's good. It carries the movie. Wonderful throwback to.
It's my number 3.
To the cool.
There
To
you
the
go.
classic, to old Hollywood. The opening scene alone, even though it doesn't include them until later, the opening scene on the freeway,
Traffic, yeah.
the traffic
So good.
scene is just incredible. For them to have closed off, and you can tell that it's an actual off ramp or section of freeway. Only in Hollywood would you be able to get away with that. To block off an entire section, especially knowing how freeways work, for this huge opening dance number. But it just sets off just what this movie's about. Just the magic of Hollywood. It's a love letter to Hollywood, and not just to musicals, but just to movie making in general. And how wonderful it is, but also how difficult it is. Emma Thompson's character, Emma Stone's character.
There's so many Emmas. There are too many Emmas. Stop naming your kids Emma.
Watson.
I still, I was telling Rory before the show, I hope that one day somebody fulfills my dream of having an all Chris movie.
Yeah.
Chris Evans.
Yeah.
Chris Pine. Chris Rock, Chris Tucker, Christopher Walken.
That would be a great movie. I'd be up for that.
Yeah,
Did you just say Chris Tucker, man? Did you
Christoph
say Chris Tucker?
Waltz.
You gotta put my name on that list, man. I'm telling you right now.
Exactly. But anyway, getting back to
talking about Christopher Walken.
And Christopher Walken.
That would be a really
as Santa Claus, as Father Christmas.
As Father Christmas, it would be a Christmas movie.
See?
That was his joke.
Yeah, that was my joke. Thank you.
I'm giving credit where credit is due.
Thank you. How awesome would that be?
But
anyway.
I played a joke on Renee last night. When I gave my list, I gave her a list of Emma Watson films. And it was all Harry Potter films. Like
it was actually just it was all Harry Potter.
Number 3, Harry Potter. Number 4, Harry Potter. And then the last thing on the honorable mention list was like, and Beauty and the Beast live action.
What I wanted to do is have like the show. I wanted to like do it. That would have been hilarious, and see how long it takes for Manny to just be like, "Dude, like, no."
Did I make a mistake?
Did I make a mistake? Yeah.
So, what's your number 1? Harry Potter.
That's hilarious. Harry Potter or Harry Potter? Which Harry Potter is it?
Well, seriously, it's Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. Is my favorite.
That's the best one.
That is the best one.
It is. It's by far the best one.
It is the best one.
It's got Gary Oldman. It's the best one.
Yeah. And not just because Guillermo del Toro directed it. But no, it wasn't del Toro. It was Alfonso Cuarón directed that one. But anyway, we're getting away from Emma.
But we digress.
We digress.
Emma Stone.
From Emma Stone. Yeah, so great musical, very interesting story.
Yeah.
She plays an actress who keeps getting rejected. I mean, she just goes on audition after audition after audition until she finally just gives up. It's like, yeah, I can't do this anymore. But Gosling's character, who is a pianist and a composer, a jazz pianist, who wants to bring back jazz, who wants to save jazz, but he's a bit of a traditionalist, and he has his own journey, and their stories dovetail and kind of come and go, but it's interesting, and then you get a cameo, well, not really a cameo, but a supporting role from John Legend, who's a wonderful musician himself and singer, and a little cameo from J.K. Simmons, who's Spider-Man fans will know as J. Jonah Jameson. And we'll talk about Spider-Man in a little bit as well. But
and the Zack Snyder universe.
In this, and he's Commissioner Gordon, in the in the Zack Snyder universe, yes, in
Snack Zider.
Snack Zider.
Snack Zider.
Anyway, so Renee, you said this was one of your favorite movies. So why is it your favorite movie?
What you said, it was a love letter to classic Hollywood and to artists and to going for it and to the sacrifices that artists have to make, which is so great because when I found out that Emma Stone literally had done a PowerPoint presentation to her family, Project Hollywood, she was the right pick for this because she actually had to do this. She had to put everything on the line, out on the line, disappoint her parents and try something totally crazy. And everyone who makes it in Hollywood, pretty much, there are exceptions, but pretty much has to do that. You have to just
in this movie.
Yeah. And she did have good chemistry with Ryan Gosling, right? I mean, she had good chemistry. I like him, and I thought he was perfect for this role. I'm just not gaga over him generally. I'm not sure what the Ryan Gosling thing is about. I think people like him because he looks like a baby, but I'm not really sure. I'm not sure why babies are attractive. It's a little weird. Yeah, it's a little.
He does have a baby face. Yeah, he does.
He's a little bit like I feel like I should bring him cookies. And ask like he could call his mom to see if he can stay late. But
we're gonna come pick him up.
Is someone coming to get you? I'm not really sure. Like
he's all out after that dance. Let's give him a nap.
Yeah. But I get it. Like he's clean cut,
But I think that's interesting that you say that because neither Gosling nor Emma Stone, as I mentioned at the beginning, have those conventional sort of movie star looks.
Right, that's true.
So I pairing them together, I thought was a brilliant move. They kind of feel like real people.
They do.
I think that's what I think that's what we're kind of seeing. Yeah. Gosling has kind of a very babyish face.
Unless you're playing a Ken doll.
Unless you're playing a Ken doll, yeah.
He's very good. But yeah, like there's good chemistry there, and it's a great story, and it's a story that like everyone in Hollywood can sort of relate to. A lot of people have been through that. So I don't know Ryan's story, but Emma, of course, has been through that. So it is a love letter to Hollywood and to people who are either if they're fans or if they're actresses or musicians or an artist. It's really a testament to telling people don't give up, keep going for it when things get hard, keep investing in your passion. It's kind of like a go for your dreams thing, but it's so colorful. And I remember watching a documentary about how they chose the costuming and then the choreography. There's so much that went into this production. It's just absolutely crazy how much went into it, how many people were involved. And it sort of just is this great celebration for, artistry, artists and that type of stuff.
Yeah, we got to give credit to the choreographer, a lady named Mandy Moore, who's choreographed big Broadway shows and other movies. You often see her on So You Think You Can Dance and other dance shows like that, competition shows. And yeah, she is one of the premier choreographers working in Broadway and Hollywood. So I think she did a wonderful job. I mean, especially when you have people who aren't professional dancers like Gosling and Stone and really teaching them the moves. I mean, they're not exactly, Fred Astaire and Ginger Rogers, but they don't have to be. That's not the point of the movie. And I like that it's not a linear story either. That there are these sort of little fantasy sequences. We get kind of a weird retelling towards the end of a what life as it could have been had they chosen this path, and it's just a really interesting movie. So anyway,
What amazed me was, when you're watching it, again, they made decisions to do lighting and like you said, costume and stuff to make it look like the 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 musicals of like the 50s, most of which starred Gene Kelly. You know,
Kelly, yeah,
very bright, colorful dance
lots of color.
numbers.
Yeah.
But again, it's in situations of everyday life. You know, like you said, on the highway there.
Hmm.
At a park when they're on a date together. But if you go back and watch Singing in the Rain or American in Paris or any of the musicals of that time, La La Land is just it's almost a carbon copy. It's
Hmm.
the way they lit it, the way they the choices that they made. I mean, they were definitely giving an homage, a nod to those musicals.
Yeah, you hear people
On
say,
a West Side Story, early '60s.
yeah, you hear people say, "Oh, they don't make them like that anymore." Well, somebody went and said, "You know what? Let's
Let's
make
do
them
it.
like they. Let's do that," and they did. And yeah, that's the one thing that really struck me
Um,
was just how colorful it was. And I'm like, wow, this is like those big Technicolor movies from the 50s and 60s. Yeah.
the Coen Boys did a musical about Hollywood not long
Mhm.
ago. I can't remember what the name of it was. Um,
Oh,
with the
oh my
communist
God.
thing. uh,
Yeah.
and a great companion piece to this because it's kind of got the same kind of feel to it, except it's the Coen brothers, so that's a little different. Uh, but yeah, and I can't remember which one came first, but I think it influenced the other, whatever it was. So in any case, yeah, that was my number three. So we can just skip over my number three right there.
Okay. Did we talk about your number two? What's your number two?
Yeah, The Help.
The Help. That's right. That's right.
Poo
Okay.
pie.
Yeah, that's right.
So what was your number three?
My number three is The Amazing Spider-Man. I had to throw that in there. It's She plays Gwen Stacy,
Hmm.
who is Spider-Man's other, his other girlfriend, his other love interest,
Hmm.
uh, which I thought was an interesting choice. And of course, she and Andrew Garfield were an item at the time.
Hmm.
So there's that relationship, and you can kind of see the chemistry between them in the movie. Um, and now the character of Gwen Stacy was actually introduced in Spider-Man 3 during the Tobey Maguire when he was Spider-Man,
Hmm.
played by Bryce Dallas Howard. But thanks to a lot of studio nonsense, a fourth film got canceled. They decided, well, we're just going to reboot the whole thing. Then they hired Andrew Garfield, who I thought made a pretty decent Peter Parker, and Emma Stone as like I said as love interest. Um, and I I'm just a superhero freak, as anybody who's followed this show for any length of time knows. Is it a great movie? As far as Spider-Man movies go, maybe not the best one, but I thought it was pretty good. I didn't like how they visualized the main villain, the lizard. It didn't look lizardy enough from the comic books. But as far as a character, as far as a foil or love interest, I thought Emma was really good in this, and I just enjoyed the movie. Um, and anyway, that's all I got to say about that.
Yes, she was good. Yes, when he was in the Spider-Man costume and he was talking as Peter Parker through the Spider-Man costume, he nailed it. As far as that's what I remember from the comic books. That's the snarky comments. That's what
The
I remember from
snarky, yeah.
the old TV show, the cartoon from the '60s. You had all kinds of great little quips to say. But the script was so bad, and yeah, and again, Reese Ivins was not a great lizard, and like you said, it should have been more lizardy. if that's the adjective of the day. And I was really disappointed with it, and even more so with the second one. The second one was just, oh my god, why did they make this?
The second, it's funny because one of the reasons that the third Tobey Maguire movie, to me, why it bombed, was they had way too many villains. They tried to cram too much into it. And a lot of it is, like I said, it's the studio's fault. They wanted Venom in that movie, and they said, by golly, Sam Raimi, you're going to put him in this movie, whether you want to or not. And so he said, well, okay, I need the job. so he put the character in there, shoehorned him in there. Then you had Topher Grace playing the character. Yeah, not good. And that's why they rebooted the whole thing. And then they made the same mistake with Spider-Man 2, with Amazing Spider-Man 2.
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Again, throwing in, you had Electro and the Green Goblin, and it just to me, the only movie that really got it right as far as multiple villains. Well, there's two. One is Batman Returns with Catwoman and Penguin, and The Batman with the Penguin, Catwoman, and the Riddler. But they made it to where it made sense that all these characters would be in this one universe. The Spider-Man movies, unfortunately, except maybe now that Tom Holland is Spider-Man, to me has made a little bit more sense. And they've kept the focus on one villain rather than trying to do this whole let's throw as many villains as we can at the character. And then introducing the Rhino in this mechanical suit. Anyway, it's a whole terrible thing. And I'm sure people are like, we don't know what you're talking about. Anybody who hasn't seen these movies are like, we don't know what the fuck you're talking about. I like Spider-Man. I like Amazing Spider-Man. I didn't like the villain, or the way they portrayed the villain, the Lizard. I think, I didn't really have a problem with Rice Ifans as Kurt Connors. I just didn't like the transformation, and I like Dennis.
British. The character was never British in the comic book. He was just a guy out in the Everglades or whatever, in a shack, working on venom, working on cures, and he injects himself with alligator or reptile. In any case,
because they couldn't regenerate their part.
Right.
Now the character of Kurt Connors was introduced in the Tobey Maguire verse again, but it was a different actor, and I don't wish they brought him back. Or I think the plan was to make him the Lizard in Spider-Man 4, but again, that whole thing went sideways. But anyway, we were here to talk about Emma Stone.
Right.
I did like her character. I thought she was very,
she was okay.
She was, she was appropriately spunky and caring, and I liked her character. And I know they were trying to make it like, okay, we're gonna do the storyline as in the comic books. And again, I don't want to, in case anybody really actually wants to see these movies, something bad happens to her in the second one. That's straight out of the comic books. But anyway, I think we've dragged this one out long enough.
All right. Yes.
So number 4. What's your number 4?
This was a surprise edition. I didn't think I was going to like this movie when I watched it last night, but it turned out to be a top 5 pick. Easy A.
Okay.
She plays a student who becomes obsessed with social media. She's going to try to make her name on social media, and she tells a lie about herself being promiscuous, and the lie just snowballs and grows out of control at her school, with her friends, with her teachers. And again, wonderful supporting cast, but it's her movie and she just rules it. And it's a great performance. I didn't think I was going to like it because it was kind of like teeny bopper movie, high school film type thing. But man, she just rocks that movie and that character.
Yeah.
And it's very dramatic, and it's very moving at places. And I was really surprised for that kind of movie that she pulled that off. So it gets number 4 on my list.
Cool. Yeah. I like the nods to The Scarlet Letter, this is not really a version of that, but definitely plays on those themes of accusations and rumors and what have you. And also, I mean, this was early on in the rise of social media and so forth, and already people were looking at it going, this could be used for evil. this could ruin people as well, and so you got to give him kudos for that.
Yeah.
Great performance, like you said, from Emma Stone. I like the woman who played her mom. She's been in other films. Patricia, I forget her last name. But she was great. Just a great cast all around. Lots of really good young actors. And yeah, again, you can see how Emma, the progression of her characters. And this is one of her early movies. So yeah. And speaking of early movies, my number 4 is Zombieland.
Okay.
Again, this is one of her earlier movies. Yes, she's it's a supporting role, but her character as Wichita, just it's even I know we kind of like we were kind of meh about Spider-Man, even though I did include it in my top 5. She's one of these actors that, and we've talked about other actors who are also like this, who no matter what they're in, they're so watchable.
Yeah.
And even if the role isn't the best part for them, they still make the best of it and really shine, and when I first saw Zombieland, I was like riveted with her. I was like, I didn't click in my mind. It's like, oh, that's Emma Stone, because again, it was one of her earliest roles, and but she's so watchable, and even up against Jesse Eisenberg, who was the star of the movie, and Woody Harrelson, and all these guys, and the young Abigail Breslin,
Bill Murray,
and Bill Murray, his weird little cameo. Yeah, it still stood out, just jumped out at me. Like, I want to know more about this character, this actress, and I just really enjoyed, and I just enjoyed the movie as well. I thought it was a really kind of playful look, kind of a nice different look at zombies from the point of view of this very neurotic kid, and all his rules about double tap and cardio and all that stuff, and there's also a little cameo from someone we talked about earlier, and not in the most favorable light, Amber Heard. She was the girl in the apartment that he has his crush on, who winds up turning into a zombie and attacking him.
I didn't notice. I didn't even. That's funny.
But that's her. That's Amber Heard.
It's a
anyway.
Movie. It's one of my favorite zombie films. And again, the whole cast is good, and the only reason it's not on my top 5 list was because she has so many really good performances, and this one was more of a supporting role, like you said.
Yeah.
I loved the first Zombieland. I skimmed through about the first half of the second one to see if she had any more to do. She was supporting cast again, really. It was mostly Eisenberg and Woody Harrelson.
Yeah.
But one thing struck me when you were talking about her, and that is that she's the cool chick. She plays the cool chick in a lot of her films. And again, that's what Hollywood wants. They want somebody that young kids are going to look to and go, oh, that's the cool one. Oh, I want to be like that, And she does that a lot. in her performances. Yeah. So
yeah, well,
4.
In that respect, she reminds me of I think a little bit of Winona Ryder in some of her early movies. She was the cool chick.
Yeah.
David Meyer asked the question. It's Abigail Breslin played the little girl in Zombieland.
Yeah.
Who she's not a little girl anymore.
Right.
But she was very cute, and I think she was also in War of the Worlds, right? She was the little girl in that. Or is that somebody else?
I thought that was Dakota Fanning.
That was Dakota Fanning. See, I get them confused.
Abigail Breslin.
Little girls all look alike to me.
Sunshine, wasn't she?
She was in Sunshine. Yeah.
Little Miss Sunshine. Yeah. Miss Sunshine. And then again, she got a little older. Then she did Zombieland, and then she got a little older, and she did Zombieland too. Double Tap.
Double Tap. Yeah. I never. I never saw the sequel. So.
What I saw, I liked. Again, like the first one. I mean, they keep the humor. They keep it humorous.
Mm-hmm.
A new girl is thrown in as another possible love interest for Jesse Eisenberg, because he has a hard time getting Emma Stone on board with with his fantasy. So and that's amusing because she's an airhead.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say any more than that because I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But yeah, it's what I saw of it was as funny as the first one.
Cool. All right.
So
Dave asked about Kick-Ass. No, that was not.
No,
that was Chloe Moretz.
Chloe Moretz. Oh yeah, she's great
in Kick-Ass. She's Hit Girl.
Hit Girl is woo.
Yeah. Chloe Grace Moretz. That's her name. So, who's also in the remake of, again, one of the best vampire movies, Let the Right One In. At least a great vampire movie. Okay.
Though the original vampire movie is better, but
the is it Swedish or Norwegian or whatever? Yeah.
But yeah, those are really creepy, great movies, both of them.
Yeah.
Okay, so my number 5, which knocked Cruella off the list, and she does a British accent in this one too, is The Favorite. Very powerful. It's a tale about nobility. I'm guessing it's England, although a lot of them dress like French, with the powdered wigs and the moles and stuff. But she plays a servant who kind of works her way up, and she's really brutally treated by people in the beginning of the film. So you're with her all the way up. Like get a little higher up there. Get to the number one. Be their assistant. And it's a very powerful movie, very dramatic movie. The woman who played the queen in The Crown in the third and the last 2 seasons, she plays the number one noble lady, who she ends up being her assistant. She ends up being the favorite. That's what the film is called. Just very powerful. And there's a lot of jealousy there, and a lot of and it's fun to watch in a dramatic way. It's very.
It is set in England. The woman you're talking about is one of the Annes. That's King Richard III. Richard III. Not Richard. Henry VIII's wives is who she is. Not Anne Boleyn, but I think the other Anne.
Okay. Hathaway.
So, yeah.
Oh no, that was Shakespeare. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Shakespeare's married to Anne Hathaway.
Yeah. Not the actress, but the real the other Anne Hathaway.
The original Anne Hathaway.
The historical Anne Hathaway. But yeah, you're right. Yeah, and I love those kind of movies, big costume dramas like that. And yeah,
it was very reminiscent for me of Dangerous Liaisons with Malkovich.
Yes.
And Uma Thurman and Glenn Close.
Glenn Close, right, yeah.
Gosh, what a movie! Wow. Okay, so what was your number?
My number 5, my number 5 we already talked about. It was Birdman.
Okay.
Or the virtue, was it the unusual virtue of ignorance? I think it's the subtitle of it. But yeah, terrific movie. It's directed by Mexican director Alejandro González Iñárritu, who also directed The Revenant with DiCaprio and other movies. But yeah, he wanted it to look like it was all shot in one take. Use some new techniques to hide the edits. Edward Norton is of course in the movie as this very is a method actor.
Showing off his junk to Emma Stone.
Yeah. But you mentioned that scene where she just lets it fly at her father, played by Michael Keaton. That's the scene I remember. That's what really kind of made this movie
so powerful.
I was like, wow. How long have you been holding that in? And yeah, the ending is
the
very
father,
like
worst fear.
Yeah.
Well, you don't mean anything.
Yeah, you're irrelevant. You're just a has-been, and just the whole idea. And of course, casting Michael Keaton in the role of this sort of this actor who had been in all these big blockbuster superhero movies, very reminiscent of actually, him playing Batman, except this is Birdman, and how it sort of literally haunts him. And he hears the voice, of the character throughout the entire movie.
Yes.
Just and a great performance from Keaton as well.
It's like his Batman,
Yeah. But a great performance from Keaton as well. So
yes,
yeah,
and what I love is that Hollywood, or he was vindicated after this film, because he pops up as Batman in the Flash movie, and that's what everybody went to that movie to see. They wanted to see him again as Batman. There was so much bad press from the kid that was playing the Flash. Was it Ezra Miller?
Yeah.
And his chicanery off screen, and everybody on social media said the same thing. I'm going to see Keaton come back as Batman. That's got to make you feel great at like 80. Yeah. He's like 80, 81, right?
Something like that, yeah.
70, 71, maybe.
Yeah.
But that's got to make you feel good,
Yeah. Hold on just a second.
So he is relevant.
He is very relevant.
Okay, so
he's 72.
Yeah, 70. He was 71 when he did that.
Yeah.
80. I'm sorry. 71. I was just so shocked when I found out he was 71. That in my mind it seemed like 80, I guess, but I was just so shocked because he does look great for 70.
Yeah,
and again looked great in the Bat outfit again. As Bruce Wayne. And anyway, again, I'm gushing. And
that's fine. Gush away.
The honorable mentions. Let me quickly mention the honorable mentions that we haven't talked about. I want to give her a nod for Superbad. She was the cool chick again in that film.
That's one of mine. Yeah.
Played with Jonah Hill and Zombieland 1 and 2. We talked about Cruella. We talked about Battle of the Sexes, which was a movie she did as Billie Jean King.
Billie Jean King, yeah.
I look at her and I don't see Billie Jean King, but she's Emma Stone. She does a great job, and she's up against.
I remember when all that actually happened, and it was it was interesting to see it sort of recreated for the movie. Yeah. Well, you pretty much mentioned most of so I'm not even. I throw in The Help. The Help is was my number one honorable mention.
Okay, I almost hesitated to put this on the list.
Uh-oh.
Which is Poor Things.
Oh.
It is such a weird movie, and it turned me off in so many different ways. Oh. But you get to see Emma Stone nude, unfortunately with Mark Ruffalo nude. For that, it deserves a nod. But again, you know, when you fantasize, but there are pictures of her out there where she looks so totally glamorous and sensual, and for some reason in this movie, I guess they tried to make her look her absolute worst when she's having sex scenes in that movie. I don't know what the reasoning was behind that, but in any case, yeah, it doesn't live up to the
doesn't live up to the hype.
To the to what you envision you fantasize.
Yeah.
You know, like okay. So sorry.
Yeah.
There's a picture of her in a swimming pool, shot from above, and her naked butt is coming up out of the water in the swimming pool. It's one of the most sensual shots I've ever seen set up to tout an actress's sensuality. It's gorgeous shot, and I mean when I saw it, I was like, wow, man. And then I watched Poor Things, and it's like, it's like, I can't unsee that.
And Renee would not allow us to show this picture.
I almost went back to find that picture and send it to her so she could show.
Not allowed. No, not allowed.
Yeah, it's just her butt. No. It's her buns coming up out of the water. So, okay. But
it's like a theme. Maybe it was Nessie. It could have been Nessie. We don't.
But oh yeah, don't show the clips from the Poor Things. No, don't do that. Because that's terrible.
I still haven't seen that one, so I don't know. But didn't she win an Academy Award for that, or was that another movie?
I don't know.
I know she's won an Academy Award.
She's won an Academy Award.
I think it's for The Help, actually.
It might be for The Help. Yeah. She deserves one for The Favorite.
Yeah. That's.
But in any case, yeah, those are my honorable mentions.
Cool. Yes, Keaton is going to be Beetlejuice again.
Oh yeah.
No, I don't think it's out. Yet. But,
October. It's coming in October. They're still putting some CGI in there. And the new trailer just dropped this past week, which has a lot of him as Beetlejuice in it. Shows you a lot more, and it shows his wife, Beetlejuice's wife. And what somebody on the internet found and pointed out, they caught it, was that remember the scene where he's in Beetlejuice, where he's going to get married to her, and he pulls up a finger to get the ring, and he goes, "She meant nothing to me, nothing to me." His wife is missing her ring finger. And I think she's played by Monica Bellucci or somebody famous is playing his wife in the film.
Huh.
And Willem Dafoe is in it. He plays one of the characters on the other side.
That seems about right. Yeah.
And it looks like Beetlejuice has taken over the Juno's job, being the head of the
head of
that helps ghosts get together with their families and haunt houses and stuff. Because Sylvia Crystal long gone.
Yeah.
So it looks like Beetlejuice took over.
Yeah, Sydney. I can't think of her name right now.
I said Sylvia, didn't I? Sorry.
You said Sylvia Crystal, who's a whole different other actress.
That's a whole different thing. Sorry.
And of course Winona Ryder is back.
And Winona Ryder's back.
I think she's the
Catherine
mother of the
O'Hara
character,
is the
Catherine
grandmother.
O'Hara. Yeah. So,
And Lydia has a daughter, and she's the one who brings Beetlejuice back.
yeah, played. I think is it Jenny Ortega or
Jenny Ortega,
yeah,
who was in Wednesday.
right.
She's the daughter.
Yeah. So it looks interesting. It looks good. But it's not Tim Burton, right? He's not directing. This is somebody else.
Oh, I think it is.
It is Tim Burton.
I thought,
well then it's going to be okay. Now I'm really excited.
Let me double check and make sure.
Bringing them back together.
Yeah, it's called Beetlejuice. Michael Keaton looks great, by the way. He looks like he did back in the day.
Yeah.
Come on.
Under all the makeup, yeah. Michael Keaton did an interview.
Yes, director Tim Burton.
Awesome. So
yeah,
perfect. Yeah, I'm glad.
I don't think he would have let somebody else direct that. No,
that was a personal project for Burton. Michael Keaton did an interview after either the first or second Batman movie. I think it was the first Batman movie came out. But in 89. 89. And he did an interview with David Letterman. And Letterman's asking him, so, well, are you gonna continue playing Batman? And it's like, oh yeah, I'm gonna ride this train till the wheels fall off. I can imagine myself, sitting in a convention somewhere, my arm in a sling, so the kids can sit. It's like, yeah, what, like Santa Claus. Yeah, what do you want, kid? Yeah, okay. When I'm 80, and sure enough, he did come back to play Batman.
Yeah.
Not quite 80, but and again, it's unfortunate but in my mind, he was Batman continued on. And again,
a lot of people are saying that they might decide after the fact that they actually made a lot of money on The Flash, even though they were suspecting it, they might lose money because of all the bad press with Ezra Miller, that they might do the Dark Knight, Frank Miller's The Dark Knight.
Oh, Dark Knight Returns.
And that would give Keaton another chance to play Batman again.
Well, Tim Gunn, James Gunn, who is now the head of the DC Comics movie division or whatever, I said that there's going to be the DCU. It's been rebranded as the DCU, but that they're going to do, just like in the comic books, they're going to do an Elseworld version with alternate versions. That's where the Joker sits. That's where the Batman sits. These are sort of off-brand, not part of the DCU. So it's possible that if they did the Dark Knight Returns, that would be an Elseworld story.
Right.
Which again, I would love that. Keaton,
because
I'm still hoping
was in Elseworlds. I mean, they had a female Superman and Michael Keaton.
Yeah, all the multiverse. Yeah,
the multiverse.
And even Nick Cage, they CGI'd him into the suit and brought back Chris Reeves and all that stuff.
Did you see it?
I did not. I've only seen clips.
Okay.
But I know that happens.
Okay.
The internet is going to spoil you.
You said like 2 weeks ago, you said I haven't seen it yet, but I've got to watch it, and I was excited because you had not seen Nick Cage's Superman.
Yeah, no, it got spoiled.
He's sandwiched in there.
Yeah, but I do want to see the movie, the whole movie. So, and yeah, the whole George Clooney ending, the whole thing's been spoiled, but it doesn't matter. I'm still going to watch it.
That was something the fans just didn't like at all.
No, because I'm
not sure why they did that. I mean, it was a cheap laugh, and it kind of went sour. It didn't go. I mean, they could have gone so many different routes with that.
Yeah. Well, apparently the studio, and again, blame it all on the studio. They love to tinker with things, and I think the original one was supposed to be Christian Bale. If I remember correctly.
Wow.
but
Now that would have been something.
Yeah, but either they couldn't get him, or he declined, or some reason they decided, hey, you know what?
Again,
Let's get Clooney. You know,
Clooney will do it.
Yeah, he's yeah, exactly. So
All
because
right.
he was so beloved as
Jeez.
Yeah, don't get me started on Batman and Robin. We'll be here again, like I said, another hour, me just ranting and raving about this movie.
So what is the show next week?
Next week we're going to do go back to doing a director, awesome director, Francis Ford Coppola. Just one of my favorite directors. He's done some awesome movies, some not so awesome, but he's done some absolute classics. And I think we need to talk about him. You know, we talked about Scorsese. Now we're going to talk about Coppola.
So no honorable mentions. Got like 5 movies.
No, he's done more than
They're
that.
legendary, mind you, but wow. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't have as big a roster of films, but he's done some pretty good.
Not like Scorsese. Scorsese's got a lot more movies.
Yeah.
Anyway.
All righty. So that's next week. What's coming up on Cosmos this week, everybody?
Tomorrow in the Big Monster Briefing Room, gonna do Hell Comes to Frogtown with Rowdy Roddy Piper.
I am obsessed with this. I can't wait. I'm so excited. Thank you, Rory, for asking the general to make the concession for me.
So that's how much we love you, Renee.
Thank you. Because I have been daydreaming about this for like half of my life. So thank you.
It's going to be another Manos, The Hands of Fate.
Yep.
Thank you. Yeah.
I gotta. Calhoun in it. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah. I gotta tell you this. There's a podcast with Michael Rosenbaum that Michael Rosenbaum does, who played Lex Luthor on Smallville. He does a podcast. And he recently had Kevin Smith as a guest on the show, and he's great. He's wonderful. Rosenbaum was wearing this T-shirt that said "Rowdy Roddy Piper" on it.
Yeah,
you got to look it up.
Yes.
It's called Inside You. I think it's something like that. Get Inside You or something. But it's the one with Kevin Smith. Just look up Michael Rosenbaum and his podcast. And he's wearing it's red. It's got Roddy Piper.
Oh my gosh, that's like amazing.
89.
I'm gonna look it up.
So you gotta look it up. The interview is great. Anyway, I mean, Kevin Smith's such a fascinating. We'll do his movies at some point as well.
I asked I mean, this is how real this is. I asked my father a couple years ago. I said, Dad, what do you remember about like my childhood? And he was like, you really, really were into Roddy Piper. And I was like, really? And he's like, no, really, like that's what I remember.
Yeah. Well, coming up Tales of They Live, John Carpenter's They Live. He got thrown into this one, and it was done like it was like $1.5 million budget.
Yeah, you can tell.
So really low budget. It's amazing they got the cast that they did even for that.
Yeah.
Because you'll recognize the character actors in it, and again, Rory Calhoun was a famous cowboy star from way back, and he
William Smith,
Motel Hell, and Angel, and William Smith did a zillion bad guys in movies and TV shows.
Mm-hmm.
And Roddy Piper, who I'm sure riding high off of I came here to kick ass and chew bubblegum, and I've run out of bubblegum,
which you had lived, by the way.
And we'll be doing that one tomorrow in the Big Monster Briefing Room, and Thursday they will be doing Godzilla Raids Again, the second Godzilla movie, which was originally in black and white, just like the first one, and it's in full color for the first time anywhere that I know of.
Wow.
Nice.
So I'm excited about that because I'm a huge Godzilla fan, you know. So gonna do that. It's very different from all the other Godzilla films. It's the first Godzilla film where he fights a foe. He fights Anguirus, which turns out to be his best buddy, like in the 1970s. So what a difference 20 years makes.
There you go. You know, yeah, you know, enemies become friends.
And one of the few times that, well, actually, they did drop the monsters in the ocean at the beginning of the film, but they didn't end the movie by dropping the monsters in the ocean and just going, well, that's it, folks. End of the movie. They actually killed not killed Godzilla, but they actually got him in a certain way. It's a good film. It's an interesting film. And again, it's going to be in full color this Thursday. For the first time, they'll be talking about it.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's what's going on this week for Big Monster Briefing Room.
Awesome. I also want to give a little shout out to our friend Dennis Tardan, and a lot of his shows. Recently, Spontaneous Conversations, talking with Pi, the chat robot, the AI, and all that stuff. I watched one episode that he did where he was trying to be boring. It was the Boring Show and I think Renee was in it as well. Yeah. And you know, he of course was unsuccessful. He was very entertaining. But Renee nailed it. She was absolutely boring.
You know,
I was very impressed with how boring she was on this.
Can we not go there?
Kudos,
oh my
kudos
God.
to you, Renee. Kudos to Renee for being the most boring person ever.
Dave is agreeing with you. Dave is agreeing.
And you know, so boring.
You know who loved the show, Rory? Was Joey Huffman, the rock star from Soul Asylum and all of those. Yeah, he loved that show. And he has all these ideas he wanted to add.
That's Dennis Tardan's humor. I mean, he's got a very sly wit. And again, yeah, we knew from the very moment out of the gate that you guys were not going to be boring, that you're going to be entertaining, trying to be boring. And that's exactly how it played out.
I don't know.
I watched most of that show, actually.
Renee was very successful at being boring. So
okay, so here's the thing. So he did not tell me. He said, we're going to do a boring show and we got to be boring, whatever. And then he didn't give me any production notes. He wouldn't talk about it. So whatever. We go live and he starts complimenting me. Wow, you're really good at this. You know, like no matter what I said, you know, you're really good at this. And at some point I was like, you know, and I rode with it for like 15 minutes. And at some point I was like, you mother, what the fuck? You know, it's like, you fucking asshole. Oh my gosh. I was so mad. And then afterwards he was like, you know, that was like my whole thing. That's why I didn't read you in. I was like, you planned it? He's like, yeah. He's maniacal.
He is. He's actually maniacal.
Patty's saying that she saw it and it was a tie. Yeah. And it was just so great though, because he did not tell me and my reactions were absolutely, they were real. I mean, I really was getting irritated because he kept complimenting me. And it's like, that's not the thing to compliment me about. All right. I'm not, he's like, you are just so talented at this. Wow. I didn't know to expect that. I thought you were going to be entertaining, but apparently this is one of your talents. You can be so boring. And I was like, geez. Drove me nuts.
All right.
Definitely.
But go back and watch it, guys. You guys can watch that. Absolutely. Please go back and watch it. We're going to do another one too. I think we should get Joey Huffman on it because he was so funny. Yeah. Dave, Dave, I'm going to come get you. I'm going to get you, Dave.
So, all right, I got to fess up. Dennis put me up to that. He's gonna hate me for revealing that to you, but yeah, he put me up to it.
No,
so I want to see how she reacts. You know, so tell her that she was successfully boring. I'm like, okay.
Oh my gosh, it drives me crazy.
Because I'm an asshole like that as well. So.
Oh my gosh. And I love it. Like, you know, like I always say to him, I literally reward the assholery. Like I love it somehow. I reward it. I like it. Like when we started the show, by the way, before we went live on air.
The assholery?
Yeah, the assholery. But before we went live on air, Manny said something. I was actually emailing Dennis. And so I was like tarrying. And Manny said something like, "What are you doing?" Like, what did he say? He said, "Get up."
I said, no, you told me that you were emailing Dennis or doing emails, and I said, oh, that's fine. It's not like we don't have a show to do.
Right. And then he apologized, and I said to him, "Actually, I really liked when you talked. What's wrong with me that I?"
Oh, dirty to me, baby.
I said, well, Dennis treats you like that all the time.
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Only as an act. It's only as an act. He's not. He just plays it on TV, like I always say. You know, like I play a ditz on TV sometimes.
You love it.
I love it. I want more of it. Give me more, you know.
Leap the abuse on me, please.
It's like some people are good at playing a villain, you know. I like when I like playing that type of banter. I mean, I wouldn't want it. I don't like actual conflict, but I find banter that's comedic to be just amazing. Oh my gosh, so amazing. So anyway, so thank you, Manny. So Manny's in on it now. Manny's absolutely in on it now.
I'm in on it. Yep.
No, because it's like the worst thing you could tell someone is that they're boring, right? Isn't that one of the worst feelings, especially as performers? You know, we never want to be boring, right?
Yeah.
Or to tell somebody you have to be boring on social media for 30 minutes.
Oh, wow.
Or an hour.
Well, we love you too, Tom.
Yeah, Tom Cheshire is never boring either. Tom Cheshire could just sit there. Dennis is the same way, and Rory was saying that too. Rory said the second he saw the title of the most boring show, he said he didn't. This is how he introduced it, an attempt at, because you know, it was just an attempt. And the feedback we got on that was that no, we did not succeed. It was quite entertaining, but that's all Dennis is doing. That was Dennis setting me up and pulling the wool over my eyes for a while.
Entertaining in its boringness.
And it was really great. Yeah. I love it. Yeah, Dave, I love it too. We're gonna do another show very similar to that.
So what are you gonna do today?
See?
I love that.
To get Rory involved in it now.
Just whine for an hour.
I like when Rory just reacts, when Rory doesn't say anything and he disagrees and he's like, just, you know, he doesn't want to say anything rude, but he's really not on board. So great. It's just so great.
Rory gives great face. Yeah.
Yeah, he does. Well, I thought you were going to say something else, and then this was going to take a turn.
That's a whole different show, Renee.
That's a different show.
Hey, what we do off camera is really none of your business, Renee.
What I'm doing off camera right now, because I want to get
camera.
credit for I was on camera for the entirety of this. I wish I had kept my camera on.
Yeah.
But I was on camera. But what I'm doing now, you don't know.
When you're off camera, our imaginations run riot as to what you're actually doing.
Oh, I'm doing something right now that would not be safe for television.
I'm sure you are.
The FCC would not agree.
That's, you know, that's who you are. Yeah.
Roland Pruitt should go on the show. Actually, that's a great idea, John. Yeah.
There you go.
And be boring.
And be boring. Yeah.
That's a very good idea. He could talk about kaiju.
But that's not boring.
That's not boring, but like he could talk about every detail of every kaiju.
A lot of people are into Godzilla and stuff today.
I agree, Dave. It is exciting because you don't know what I'm doing. Usually I'm doing something untoward. So it's very exciting. Very untoward.
She goes off camera when she wants to use her hands.
Yeah, see, when oh man.
What were you gonna say, Manny? Manny's a bad boy. What is he gonna say?
Yeah, that's why I keep my hands off camera.
Oh,
You don't see what's happening down here.
oh my gosh. Oh, Dave. Oh my
I mean,
God. That's so
it's okay.
great.
So
We don't want to, yeah, we're not Jeffrey tubing it. That's a hard
yeah,
verb.
You see my hands. I'm eating.
tubing, yeah.
David, I know you're teasing. I can take it. I never get offended. I never do. I encourage
See,
them.
Major Millie has the excuse of her being, on assignment,
She's on assignment.
top
Yeah.
secret assignments, so she has to be off camera.
Well, I'm on a secret assignment right now. It's just a different.
Pumping Bigfoot. Yeah.
It's just a different brand, you know.
Yeah. Yeah. So,
Yeah, Bob did offend me once. Bob is the only
He's
person.
highlighting Nessie.
Bob is the only person who actually made me legitimately angry in the last 3 decades of my life.
Doing what?
He can tell you. He can tell you exactly how I respond when I'm angry. So I get angry once a millennium, but
I've never seen you angry. Well, I saw you angry one time.
No, I don't think you've ever seen me angry. Bob Ross is the only one.
You wouldn't want to see her when she's angry. It's all green and
it wasn't focused at me. It was focused at somebody else.
It was probably Bob Ross.
No.
It wasn't. Oh gosh, I don't remember, but I don't remember.
I was shocked because I'd never seen you angry before.
No, it'll. It's usually not when it's against me. It's usually when it's affecting other people.
Right.
Yep. If somebody's coming down hard on somebody else, I can't take that. I don't like it. I don't like bullying or anything like that. So if someone plays around with me or teases me, I don't care. I just had a conversation with Dennis about that earlier. I said to him earlier, I said, I'm a big girl. I don't care if someone yells at me, or that doesn't bother me at all. But yeah, so if somebody's messing around with someone else, I can get angry. And then Bob Ross said, I'm still in therapy. Yeah, I busted my voice out that day, actually. I busted my voice out. Yeah.
Wow. Ouch.
Yeah. Well, Bob.
Is it on tape?
It's not on tape, I don't think, unless he was taping. Bob, if you were taping, you should share it, because that would be fantastic.
I would like to see that.
Yeah, I was really good. I think it was on the telephone, so there's no video, unfortunately. Have you ever seen, did you ever see, J-Lo did a movie called Enough? And it's like this like amazing women's rights thing where like her husband is like crazy and is always coming to get her. So she trains because like the police let her down, the system lets her down. So she starts training with a self-defense expert, and he's like, one day you're going to be here in the middle of the night and he's going to come in and you won't have time to call 911. You got to learn. So she trains the whole movie to defend herself. And it's called Enough, because she had enough. It's like so.
Yeah.
So Bob, I had enough.
The movie. Enough. Will you get to the part where he comes?
And then he comes in at the end. In the movie, he comes in at the end.
That's what she said. That's the show for today. Thank you, folks, for joining us.
And on that note, Bob, I'm just teasing. Don't brew the day. It's all right. It's okay. You're fine. You're safe.
It's been smoothed over.
It's all smooth. I don't even remember it anyways. But yeah, thank you everyone for showing up. I hate when we leave them and there's so many people commenting, because it's so fun,
I know.
Today.
By the way, I want to give a nod out to Sandy's shows.
Yes.
Wednesday night, Salty with Sandy. And on Thursdays at 10 o'clock, you got No Icing. And she really gets great guests for her show.
Oh, so good. So good. So good. So good. And of course, Tardon Media, a reasonably spontaneous conversation. We are on the 4th iteration of that show. He's had amazing, amazing guests back to back. Dee Wallace from E.T., Michael Learned from Waltons. Just incredible stuff. We have a viral sensation, Dina Rizzo. You can Google her. You have definitely seen her videos. And Dennis was the first interview that she's had since she went viral, and she's trying to process her fame, and she has this contract with a fitness drink now, and she processed it with him in real time. It's just amazing stuff. And tomorrow he's doing Brandon Valerino from the band Westerner, who's also a hypnotherapist. He's been on No Icing. He's a friend of Sandy's. And Brandon he's magic. He cured me a year ago on No Icing he didn't even put me under or anything. I just told him I had a lifetime binge eating of chocolate, and he just talked to me live on Sandy's show. And in all that time, I've never craved chocolate again. It's bizarre. He cured Bethy of nicotine, I think. Sandy, he cured her of her smoking. He's magical. So I said, we got to have him talk to Dennis. Let's see what's going on.
What's Dennis addicted to?
Boredom.
Boredom. I think he's a boredom. Yeah, and David. Yeah, we got to set up something, David. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
A little intimidated by him, David. Don't be you know when you see a spider and they say the spider's more afraid of you than you. Don't be afraid of Dennis. Don't be afraid.
Dave needs to go on the show and talk to Dennis, since he's so fascinated with this whole AI thing.
Right.
He needs to talk. They need to get together and talk about that.
They need to do it live too, because I think that the audience would just love being flies on the wall, listening to all of that stuff. Yeah. So we got to do it that way. We got to run a show, maybe even just as a one-off. But David, you're always busy, David. We never know when to book you. So,
right, exactly. Yeah.
So we got to figure it out. David, pitch us some times, and you do a show, an AI show.
There you go. Yeah.
Yep, there you go. I heard that we eat at least 50 dinners in our sleep. The spider connection. Oh my gosh, David, that's brilliant. That's my favorite comment anyone's ever made in Cosmos.
That's good.
You know how they always say you eat this many spiders while you're sleeping? And then I said he's like a spider. Anyways, David, it's lost on them, but it was hilarious. That was...
Perhaps he'll die.
Okay. What? What'd you say?
I don't know why he swallowed that fly. Perhaps he'll die.
Oh, okay. All right. Anyways, we've gone way over, but it was totally worth it. I love everyone in the comments, and I love you guys. Thank you so much for all you do, guys.
All right.
Thank you.
We'll see you in the funny papers.
What? Wait, will we?
And, I dated this woman years ago who's about 10 years younger than me, and I would make these comments like that, and she would just look at me and go, "You and your old man phrases."
Old man phrases.
That is something they said back in like the 30s.
Exactly.
Yeah, but I knew what he meant, though. That's
you big galoot.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, that's so funny. I love it. From now on, that's going to be what I say to people now.
See you in the funny papers?
Yeah, see you in the funny papers.
See you in the funny papers.
Yep.
John, and on that note, we got to go on that note. That was the best note.
Oh, brother, where art thou? John Goodman says it. See you in the funny papers, boys. After he knocks him out, after he whacks him over the head.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. Look, I'll get the last comments in. Old man phrases. That's hilarious. Okay. David and I bond over spiders.
We get more commentary when we're not talking about movies on this movie show.
I know. It's crazy. It's so great.
Maybe just forget the movies and just...
Look at what JD just said. JD just said it. Look, JD just said it. Super fun show. Especially love the chat at the end. You see?
There you go. There's our title.
We need to just do chat at the end as its own show. You know how they do they do donut holes? Like they'll sell donut holes. We should do chat at the end.
Yeah. Two guys and a gal talk bullshit for
for half the show.
For half the show. Okay. We're really just gonna have to.
Okay, we're gonna go. Pull the plug. Bye.
Thanks for watching this episode of Two Guys and Sometimes a Gal Talking About Movies. Be sure to like, subscribe, and click that notification bell to get future episodes.